Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Today's my weekly Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. And here's my notes. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I did not do and are incredibly annoying to get shippers. Okay. So I added that little extra in there. But yeah, 3 things I did not do in order to get shippers as a freight broker. So these are things that kind of annoy me. These are things you should stop doing if you're doing right now. And I'll give you some tips on how to maybe change some of those things to try to help you grow your business, get more shippers, drive more revenue and more profit in the old Hib National Bank. All right. So without further ado, let's see. All right. So here's with the agenda. First, hit me up in the comments with the city and state you're logging in from. I'd love to hear from you. All right. That's number 1. I'll try to do some shout outs possibly before we get started. So here's the agenda. Number 1, we're going to do the training. Well, first we'll do some shout outs. Then we're going to do the training. And then if you stick around to the end, we're going to do some live Q&A. All right. So let me know you guys are alive and breathing and ready to go. And again, hit me in the comments with the city and state you're logging in from, and we will go from there. Let's see. All right, cool. So we got a bunch of people joining us. Anna from Windsor, Virginia. Welcome. Thank you. So today, again, we're going to talk about 3 things that I did not do to get shippers as a freight broker. So what I want to point out is these things because these are some things that I think are a complete and utter waste of time and are very ineffective. And that I see a lot of people spinning their wheels. Okay. Katricia in Clearwater, welcome. Corey from Billings, Montana, as always. Thanks, Corey, for joining. So we got a few people jumping in here. In a minute or so, we're going to start the training. But again, hit me up in the comments with the city and state you're logging in from. I'll try to give you a quick shout out. I know it's early, depending on where you're at. Hoping that if somebody can give me some feedback on the audio video, is everything copacetic? I had to make some adjustments and tweaks to the software. Eclectic Rose checking in from Colorado. Welcome. All right. So you can see I've got notes here on what we're going to go over today. I didn't create a checklist or a cheat sheet for this. I didn't have time, but lean in. You guys can catch this. If you're catching this on replay, which is a really good point, hit me up in the comments with hashtag replay. I love to hear from my replay folks. I know sometimes you can't make it live. All right, a little quiet today. Jabrel from Philadelphia, welcome. Good. Thank you for the heads up on the video audio. Awesome. Betty Jones, Raleigh, North Carolina, welcome. Cool. So we got quite a few people joining live, and more will catch us on replay. So give it about another 30 seconds. I'll start the training. And again, we're going to do these shout outs, then we're going to do the training, and then we're going to do live Q&A at the end. Hold your questions till the end. I'll let you know when to type them in. I will do my absolute best to try to answer those questions for you. If I don't have the answers, which sometimes is the case, I'll try to point you in the right direction. Okay. Welcome, Jason Rouse from Minnesota. Cool. All right, guys. So today I'm going to share with you 3 things that I did not do in order to get shippers as a freight broker. Yes, these are things I did not do. And I will be honest, I consider them to be a complete and utter waste of time. And again, time is that asset that we can never, ever get back. So you do not want to waste time, particularly as a freight broker startup. Okay. So here's my notes. All right. So lean back. You can always watch this on replay. Again, number 1 on the list of 3 is I did not chase prospects. Okay. So what do I mean by that? If you find yourself calling the same prospects 5 or 10 times a day, or you find yourself emailing a prospect every day or multiple times a week, and you're not getting a response, I hate to break the news to you, but you sound desperate. Okay. And nobody likes to buy from a desperate broker. No one likes to buy from anybody who's desperate. Okay. You have to position yourself as an authority. You have to position yourself that your time is valuable. All right. But most of all, what you have to learn, the lesson you have to learn from this is that you have to stop trying to convince people that they have a need. Okay. If they don't have a need, then there is no sale. Your job as a salesperson is to find the people who have a need and then fill that gap. All right. So listen, here's the thing. Do not chase your prospects, because when you chase them, guess what happens? They run. Okay. It's not a surprise. Just like anybody being chased, they run the other direction. But when you stop chasing, you will actually magnetize and draw prospects to you when you do it properly. Okay. So that's number one. Do not chase prospects. All right. Number two, I did not focus on co-brokering. I didn't focus on trying to find other brokers that I could co-broker my loads with. Why? Because 95+% of the time, it is going to be a waste of time, probably more. I mean, in my opinion, it is a complete waste of time to focus on co-brokering. If you are a new broker or a new agent, you need direct shippers, right? You need to have relationships with direct shippers, manufacturers, producers, distributors, importers, exporters, people that actually make and or ship goods. But you do not want to waste your time on co-brokering. I see this big dependency where people are reaching out to other brokers to try to co-broker their loads. Can it work? Sure. But it's kind of an anomaly. It's a unique situation. It's not the way to build a successful freight brokerage. So if you think you're going to go out and set up a bunch of other brokers and co-broker relationships and you're going to build a highly profitable freight broker business, I got news for you. Probably not going to happen. You need direct shippers, which means you need a system, a proven system, in order to go out and get direct shippers in any market conditions. That's the reason why I put together the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, right? That Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, you can get on the wait list. It's on the screen right now, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. That's where I take that piece of my brain and I transplant my best freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, but most importantly, the freight broker system, sales system that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker, but has also allowed many of my clients to go on and build 6 and 7 and even 8-figure freight brokerages using those same tactics, strategies, and systems. All right. So if you want to get on the wait list, you can check it out. It's sold out right now, but you can get on the wait list and you'll be the first to get notified when a new spot opens up. Okay. So that's that part. Okay. Number 3, listen, hold tight. This is an important one. Okay. Number 3, hold tight. I did not focus on being the cheapest. All right. And by the way, I've got 2 bonuses for you. I kind of sandbagged you a little bit. Hold tight because I've got 2 bonus tips that you definitely want to hang on to. But number 3 is I did not focus on being the cheapest. What you have to understand is the vast majority of the time, the reason why you're getting objections or the reason why you're not getting loads from prospects is not price, it's trust. Okay? It's trust. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't care if you're the cheapest person out there with the cheapest rates and you're willing to lose money on every shipment, which would be stupid. But if you're the cheapest person out there, if they don't trust you, they won't give you the freight. The higher the price, the more trust you need to build. The lower the price, the less trust you need to build. Okay? Just imagine if you had a testimonial from a shipper that you've done business with that says, hey, with Dennis, we have to pay a little bit more on the front end, his price, but we get a lot more value on the back end. I don't know what we'd do without him. Thank you, Dennis. Something very simple. Just imagine having a testimonial or 2 or 3 or 5 testimonials from customers that say that. And imagine the power of leveraging that social proof. Imagine the power of leveraging those testimonials in your sales cadence, in your sales process, in your sales dialogue. Okay. So that's number 3. Now I got 2 bonus tips for you. Those are the 3. We'll run through them really quick. I did not chase prospects. I did not focus on co-brokering, and I did not focus on being the cheapest. But here's the bonuses. Okay. Here's number 4. I did not spend all day on social media posting 5 times a day. I did not post on social media 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. And that includes LinkedIn, that includes Twitter, X now, that includes all the different channels. I did not sit there and post all day long on social media. Why? While I'm a big believer in leveraging tools, particularly like LinkedIn, I did not want, it takes time and energy and resources to come up with good ideas and interesting concepts and hooks for your social media posts. So I did not waste my time posting 5 times a day. I think the best strategy is kind of a 2-part strategy. You should try to post at least once per day on LinkedIn, something that's highly relevant to your target market. All right. The goal there is to position yourself as an expert, a valuable resource, to start engaging with potential prospects and potentially start some conversations that could lead into your sales process. The second part of that, after you've posted once a day, right, some quality content once a day, what you want to do is you want to engage with other influencers and with other content within the ecosystem. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're in the steel industry, you want to try to tap into and find influencers that are posting on LinkedIn related to the steel industry, related to the produce industry, related to whatever your niche is. So you want to tap into their network and start posting, start commenting and engaging with their content as a way to enter and position yourself in the conversation. Because prior to that, you're not any part of that conversation. But if you can make some meaningful comments, ask some good questions, add some insights, people are going to start seeing your name regularly. They're going to start following you. They're going to start connecting with you, and they're going to start asking you questions. And again, that's the beginning of how social selling works. Okay. So that's number 4. All right. I did not post 5 times on social media. And then number 5, hold tight. This is an important one. Okay. This is one that really annoys me, and it should annoy you. And if you're doing it, please stop. Please stop. Okay. Because you're doing way more harm than good. It is, I did not spam shippers or prospects via email or LinkedIn with automated software. Okay. There's a lot of software out there for automated emailing and mass mailing. There's a lot of software out there for automated LinkedIn messaging and connecting with LinkedIn, prospects or people in your niche, but it's automated software. I did not do that. That to me is exactly what it is. It's spam, right? And nobody wants to be spammed. So can you do cold email? Can you send connection requests to people? Yes. But what I want you to do is, rather than taking a one size fits all and thinking that you're going to be able to send one sales pitch to 300 or 500 or 1,000 different people via email, which is going to be a very low return on your investment of time and energy and resources, what you're better off doing is customizing that approach to each individual prospect. Okay. So rather than trying to take a one size fits all and using automated software, what you're better off doing is customizing that approach and sending out 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 messages a day, whether that be through LinkedIn or whether that be through email, whatever the case may be, by gathering sales intelligence, gathering some data, and creating a compelling sales hook that allows you to stand out from the crowd, allows you to differentiate yourself from the other people out there that are just spamming and hoping, right? So listen, you've heard it before, you'll hear it again. Hope is not a winning strategy. Going out there and just throwing a whole bunch of shit up against the wall is not the secret to success, okay? So those are my 5. I was going to give you 3, but I gave you 5. If you guys want to get on the list for the Sales Accelerator, the link there is on that screen, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. It's a 8-week freight broker sales coaching program where I coach you and teach you and mentor you on my best strategies, tactics, tools, my entire freight broker sales system that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker. And again, you can get on the wait list. You'll be the first to get notified when new spots open up. It's a VIP group. It's a very small, tight-knit group that we work very closely with. I personally do the coaching and mentoring. So don't worry, it's coming from somebody who has a lot of experience and has been blessed to have a lot of success in the industry. So, but if you are looking for startup training, if you're new to the industry and you're just looking to get your legs under you, like you need to figure out your niche, you're looking for, you need to understand how to do load boards. You need to understand how to get your freight broker authority or get hired as an independent freight agent. You can check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. That's my startup program where I've trained over 10,000 students since 2009. We've had students and clients in 16 different countries, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee on that startup program. So listen, if you guys are curious, make sure you check it out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Thank you for being here. Click the like button, comment down below with your questions, and I'll see you next week. All right. So for those of you that are going to stick around, hold tight. For those of you that are going to stick around for the Q&A, hold tight. I will do the questions in just a minute. A couple extra shout outs. Danny from Michigan, welcome. Simon from Nashville. Patricia from Orlando. Shaka Robinson from Hope Mills, North Carolina. Misha, good afternoon. Betty, thank you. American Movers, thank you. Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. Listen, so give me some feedback in the comments. 1 to 10. 1 meaning, Dennis, I really didn't like this training. I thought it was a waste of time. 10, this was exactly what I needed. This was perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anywhere in between, I just want your honest feedback, okay? But if you're anything less than an 8, tell me why and tell me how I can improve it, or give me some meaningful feedback on how I can improve it, because that's my goal. My goal is to try to make sure that the topics and the strategies and the trainings that I do here for free every Monday are things that you're interested in and that are relevant to you, okay? So it's very important. All right, Dwayne, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Misha. Thank you for the kind words. Dwayne, welcome from Philadelphia. Anna, thank you. Shaka Robinson, thank you. Cool. All right, good feedback. All right, very cool. Let me grab a quick drink and we'll jump into Q&A. If you have questions, hit me up in the comments and I will do my absolute best to try to answer them, whether that be about today's training, whether that be about freight broker sales, whether that be about freight broker startup, whether that be about the future of the industry, whether that be about rating, whatever it is, okay, whatever you're struggling with, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see what we can do. Okay. Hi, Dennis. Do you think ThomasNet is a better source of suppliers of specific food items rather than Google search or Chat GPT, or do you know another source that is even better? Yeah. Those are all good sources, okay? But the source that I'm leaning towards right now that I think is the best and is absolutely free, okay? There's a free and a paid version, but the free version gives you an enormous amount of data and information. Let me find it. It's right here. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/free leads. That is Apollo. I've dove into Apollo over this last year. They offer first of all, you sign up with an email. You do not need a credit card. Okay. Which is very cool. Secondly, they offer you an enormous amount of data for free that you can find in almost any niche. And you can build an entire list of potential prospects, including phone, website, emails, and then you can buy enhanced data. So if you want access on that list and you want enhanced data that has a lot more data to it, you can purchase that, but it's not required. You get an enormous amount of data for free. Okay. So that's where I would go. And while I think those are good sources, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com/free leads. It costs you absolutely nothing. Okay. It's with Apollo. They are a partner of mine. I wouldn't offer them to you if it wasn't something that I truly believed in. And again, it is an affiliate link. In the event that you ever decide, I don't get paid for you to sign up as a free resource. If you decide in the future to ever purchase, they will do an affiliate commission to us in full transparency. But I take all that money and I reinvest that affiliate commissions back into the program, okay, to enhance the program. It's not something that goes in my pocket. It's something that I just use to fuel additional resources for the program itself. So that's where I would go. But those other ones are good resources. I just think that the one that I'm high on right now that I think has the best information and the best data is Apollo. So hope that helps. Shaka Robinson says, how do you suggest we calculate freight rates? Okay, very, very simple. First, I would start by using the rating tools inside of the different load boards like TruckStop or the DAT. That would be my starting point, but that is not my end point. What I don't do and what I don't suggest and what I don't teach is go into there, find the rate for that lane based on the equipment, and then just add 10 or 15% on the top. That is, in my opinion, a surefire way to fail. So here's what you need to do. You need to take one more step beyond that. Get that baseline rate, kind of the low and the high and the median. It's going to give you a bunch of data there, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to search the load boards or post the load on the load boards or look on the lane history, and you want to talk to at least 5 carriers that are interested in moving that lane, that load, whether it's from a post that you posted or whether it's from a historical lane that you see that carrier is posting their loads in that lane. And you want to start very low. If you get hung up on the first couple times, you're probably doing it right. Start very low. And what I call find the market. And so find the market is what you're trying to do is if carrier 1 tells you it's 1,000, they'll do it for $1,000, and carrier 2 tells you they'll do it for $1,100, and carrier 3 says they'll do it for $1,300, and carrier 4 says they'll do it for $1,350. Where is the market? The market isn't the $1,350. The market isn't the $1,000. The market is probably towards the lower end. So you can kind of use that as a baseline of what you'll be able to pay a truck in the spot market on any given day based on where you're at today. And then you mark that up, add 100, add $200. When you have a new shipper, you obviously, you don't want to try to add too much margin on those first lanes. Your goal is to do what I call land and expand. So if you make a little bit of money on that shipment, 50, 100, $150 on the first load, then as time goes on, you'll be able to ferret out other opportunities. And as you prove yourself and you build trust, other opportunities will be presented to you. And then you can maybe make a little bit more money on some of those lanes, depending upon the difficulty, depending upon their prices, depending upon demand, and a whole bunch of variables that fit into that. So it's really simple process. Okay. Really simple process, but thanks for asking. That's a good question. Dwayne Moore, what's the best way to practice my sales pitch? I love this question. It's very simple. Take out your cell phone, your Android, your Apple phone. All of them have some sort of recording app on here, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to record yourself, either just yourself, and there's 2 things I want you to do. I want you to record your intro, your cold call intro, and I want you to record how to respond to the top 3 or 4 objections you're going to get. Objections like, we're happy with our current provider, or we're not bringing on any new brokers right now, or we don't do business with brokers, or your price is too high. I mean, those are just a few. And what you want to do is you want to record yourself doing that so you can hear yourself, because in your head, you sound different than you do from the other end of the phone. So you want to record yourself doing that and practice, right? Practice makes perfect. The next thing you want to do is you want to role play with a friend, a colleague, a spouse, a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, whoever. You want to role play. And so, for example, Dwayne, if I was your prospect, you would call me using your cold call open, right? Your cold call basic opening. And then I would respond, and then we would start a dialogue back and forth. And my job is to try to be a little bit difficult so that you have to navigate the situation that I present to you, right? So it allows you to kind of learn on the fly. And you want, if at all possible, you want to try to record that dialogue. So if you're sitting next to each other across the table, you can just put your phone out and hit record. If not, there's all kinds of recording software out there that you can use on your phone. And that would be what I would do. So it really comes down to role playing. In addition to that, I would be remiss without mentioning my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Okay. One of the fastest ways to learn how to get shippers, if you're a freight broker startup or a freight agent startup and you're looking to get your first 5 or 10 shippers and do your first $1 million in sales, one of the fastest ways to do that is to join the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Now, it's closed right now, but you can get on the wait list at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. You'll be the first to get notified when new spots open up. And then at that point, we could schedule a call, do a quick interview, and see if we're a good fit to work together. But again, that is an 8-week live coaching program where I take that piece of my brain, I transplant it into your head, and I teach you everything I know about freight broker sales, my entire freight broker sales system, and then I help you implement that in your business, okay? So you can start getting shippers quick, okay? Hope that helps. Good question. Hold on. I'm looking. Okay, Dwayne says, what's the best? Oh, you did that. We did that one. Thank you. Okay, question from Rilwin. I got my DOT number for freight brokerage last month. I'm working through some prospecting ideas right now. When do I absolutely need to have my surety bond in place? Well, you absolutely have to have your surety bond in place in order to get your authority active. Okay? So, if you want to start selling, you want to start moving loads, you want to start generating revenue, you have to have an active freight broker authority. In order to do that, you got to check all the boxes. One of those boxes is your surety bond. One of those boxes is your application. One of those boxes is your BOC3. One of those boxes is your UCR. So there's certain boxes you got to check in order to get your authority active. So now that you've filed that, you're going to want to obviously start pursuing some sort of a bond option, right? So if you guys want a place where I refer my students to, let me just pull it up really quick. They've done hundreds and hundreds of my students over the years. If I can find the link, maybe I'll just type it. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/bond. Pretty simple, right? Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/bond. All right. They will work with startups. Obviously, you got to have at least decent credit. But yeah, that's where I would go. They will take care of you. They've taken care of hundreds of my students. They're as competitive as they get. They're probably one of the largest bond companies out there servicing actual active freight brokers today. So you can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/bond. Okay. Hope that helps. Thank you, Shaka. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. Tim, thanks, bro. We got to catch up soon. Jasir, the only way, if you are a part of my live Freight Broker Sales Accelerator coaching program, that's where we do calls. Okay. So if you're a part of that live Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, then that's where we do live coaching calls. If you're a part of the Freight Broker Bootcamp Startup program, that's an on-demand, self-paced, go at your own pace online course that you can access the material 24/7, 365, and then you can send us questions through support. Okay. So those two different programs. One is Freight Broker Bootcamp. One is the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Okay. So the live program, if you're part of that live program, you would have gotten emails. If you're interested in that live program, again, get on the wait list and we'll let you know when spots open up. Betty Jones, carrier that I've used in the past, told me that they had their own factoring company. Why do I need a factoring company? Factoring companies are asking for 1 year business and 100,000 sales. Okay, Betty, let me explain this. If a trucking company has their own factoring company, that factoring company is factoring the invoice from you, the broker, because you are their customer. Right? The carrier is providing services to the broker. That means you're their customer. So they are factoring to the carrier. You are paying that invoice. The factoring company is taking a risk on you. Okay? Now, you have to have money to pay that factoring company. So you, unless you have that money, you have to have your own factoring company that can then factor the invoices from your shipper, which wears the risk, right? They're going to factor the invoices from your shipper. And then they're going to factor that money to you, and that gives you money to pay your carrier's factoring company. Does that make sense? It's kind of like a daisy chain. The carrier's factoring company factors money from you, and your factoring company factors money from the shipper to you. So you have to have money to pay their factoring company. So that's why a lot of times brokers will have their own factoring company and the carriers have their own factoring company. Hope that makes sense. Anonymous, if I'm a freight agent, do I bill my customers or the broker? Typically, you don't bill either. The broker will bill your customers. Typically, if you're an agent, you don't do the back office. You're not going to do billing. You're not going to do collections. You're not going to do all that. In most cases, the broker is going to handle that for you, but the broker will bill your shippers direct. And then what will happen is they will pay you a commission based on the profit generated. So if you have a load that, you paid a carrier $1,000 and you charge the shipper $1,200 and there's $200 in gross profit there. And let's say you're on 50% commission, you would get $100 commission from the broker based upon the terms that you've agreed to. It's usually either a week after invoicing, or maybe when they pay the invoice. It depends upon the broker, right? But that's how that would work. Good question. Thank you. Misha asks, I have a factoring company because I don't have the money to pay the carrier right away. Exactly. That's how it works. You will need a factoring company, or you just need to finance it yourself if you don't have the capital. If you guys are looking for a factoring company that handles startups, okay, here's where you go. There's two offers on here. One is a broker credit training program. It's free. It's $250 value normally, but my community gets it for free. That's where you would go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/broker credit. But if you are a new broker, a startup broker, and you need help factoring, my friend Tom, who owns and runs Operify, will do factoring for startups that are referred by me. You go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/cash flow. You'll fill out the form. They'll set up a call. And at that point, but you need to be a broker, right? You can't be an agent. You need to be a broker. You need to have your DOT or your MC number in order for that to make sense, right? Because they can't factor for you unless you have that. But they do factoring for startups. Now, there's a lot of factoring companies out there that don't factor startups. I think somebody mentioned it before. They want you to do $100,000 in business before they'll start factoring. Not Tom, not Operify. Those guys over there, they'll take care of you. Okay. So you get if you need factoring companies and you are a startup broker, you've got your authority, or you've got your MC in the wings here, and you've filed for it. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/cash flow. Okay. Hope that helps. All right. Anthony says, I've been a warehouse supervisor manager for 4 different companies for 20 years. Congrats. I have some knowledge of logistics. How challenging is it for me to make this career move into brokering? Okay, so Anthony, you have a distinct advantage over when I first got started and when a lot of the student success stories that have went through my program got started, because you're used to dealing with, you have the lingo of shipping and warehousing and transportation and logistics. That's built into you. You've done it for 20 years. It's very natural for you, right? You can talk the talk. You don't need to learn the vocabulary, okay? Number two, you know how to deal with drivers. You know how to deal with carriers, right? Number three, you know what's involved and the challenges that can happen from the shipper's perspective. You have a unique perspective on the value of carriers, the value of brokers, the challenges, the issues, right? So you're already an authority on it. So now you could just translate that into your sales conversations with prospects and letting them know you've been in their shoes. So I think you have a huge advantage, okay? Particularly over where I started. I had been an entrepreneur, but I had no trucking, logistics, transportation experience. I started with zero. You know exponentially more right now than I did when I first got started. So I think you could be a natural. Again, I'm just doing it based upon what you've told me. I don't know you personally, but I think they'd be a shoo-in. Okay? So I hope that helps. If you want to get started on an online freight broker training program that'll teach you A to Z, the brokering game, and it's the most cost-effective and comprehensive online freight broker program for training. We trained over 10,000 students. Just go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com, right? Freightbrokerbootcamp.com. You can get enrolled, get instant access. It's super affordable. It's on demand. You go at your own pace. There's no, there's nothing that you have to miss work for. You can do it weekends, evenings. You can do it remote. You don't have to travel. So hope that helps. Congrats, Anthony. 20 years. That's awesome. Okay. TibXX. Hi, Dennis. Everything you're doing is great. Appreciate for all you do helping others. I'm a truck driver now. I want to take a class. Is that based on specific time or convenience based on the job? Okay. So if you want to do the Freight Broker Starter Program, go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com. It's you get instant access to the online training 24/7, 365. You do not have to wait for a classroom. You do not have to wait for an instructor. It's all online, self-paced. Okay? Remember, the Freight Broker Bootcamp is the startup program. The Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is the sales coaching program. Those are two different programs. You need to start with the startup program. And then in the event that you think you need a coach for sales and helping you get shippers, then we can talk about that later. But you start with the startup program and you get instant access to that. So I hope that helps. Misha, what is a good catchy subject to have when you email a shipper? Just like I tell you, there is no one size fits all cold call pitch. There is no one size fits all cold email. There's no one size fits all subject. I'm going to give you a little bit of a framework. Number one, you want to keep it short. Try to keep it under 3 words, 3 or 4 short words. Okay. Don't make it long. Number two, make it relevant to the prospect. Number 3, try to invoke curiosity. Okay. Go back through the emails you've received from me and you'll see what I mean. I send out a lot of emails to the people that subscribe to my email list, and you can see the subjects. All right. Now, those are going to be different subjects. Okay. You're not going to use the same subject, but I want you to understand the thought process on how to create an interesting and compelling subject line. Okay. So those are just some tips on how to create a subject, right? A compelling subject for your email. As a freight agent, would I need an LLC or a website? You don't need either, but I would recommend, I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, okay, even though I have my bachelor's degree in law. I don't have my JD. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school. But as a freight agent, I would recommend that you have an LLC. And the reason why is because the LLC, there are tax advantages, number one. And number two, it will protect you and insulate you from liability in the event of. If there's ever an issue, if there's ever a challenge, it will insulate you from liability. For example, if you ever got sued for any reason, they would only be able to sue and try to extract the assets of the LLC. They can't sue you personally or take your house. Okay, make sense? So yeah, you probably won't need a website. What you will probably have is a LinkedIn profile. You definitely are going to want to have a LinkedIn profile as an agent. And that's absolutely free. You can set up a profile for free. Let me scroll. I'm looking for questions. Yeah, Peter, lead generation is possible in the freight brokerage business. And there's really two ways to do it. One is paid ads. You can do paid ads. It can be expensive, but when you think about the lifetime value of a shipper, it can work. Okay. So you can do paid ads on Google. I've seen a lot of, especially medium and larger brokers, do really well with that. The second way is using LinkedIn by posting content and then leveraging that post is a way to get people to raise their hand. So you can generate some leads. But again, you're right. It's not like the solar business or the alarm business or the landscaping business or the insurance business or the realtor business. It's not the same, right? It is different. So lead gen is kind of secondary. Inbound lead gen is a little bit secondary compared to outbound. It's the reason why I put together the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, right? If you could just go out and buy leads, or you could, had lead generation systems that were reliable and that you could generate a large volume of leads, then I wouldn't need an outbound, sales effort. But that's not the case. You need to learn how to do cold calls, warm calls, referrals. You need to learn sales. I mean, you need to learn those fundamentals, and you need to learn it specific to the freight brokerage industry. So thank you for the comment. Yeah, Jabrel, the broker shipper agreement, carrier broker agreement, and the broker agent agreement are all in the Freight Broker Bootcamp Startup Program. You just go to Tools, Contracts, and there they are. You can download them, you can customize them, you can do whatever you want. Okay, guys, listen, that's going to wrap it up for today. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. I appreciate it. I got a long to-do list of things to do. I'm sure you do as well. I hope this worked out for you. If you found value, do me a huge favor. Hit the like button, whether you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're at, hit the like button. Share the stream. Let other people know about this. I do these live trainings every Monday at noon. They're absolutely free. And if you want to catch other videos, I've done over 300 free training videos. Okay. Check out my YouTube channel. You can check my YouTube channel out at, I'll give you an easy link to go to. Okay. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/YouTube. It will redirect you to my YouTube channel. We got over 300 free training videos there. Okay. And it covers all kinds of topics, frequently asked questions. It covers how to get shippers. It covers the whole gambit of things you can imagine, that there's so many videos there. You'll probably get in a rabbit hole and spend 3 hours there, but you can do it bite-sized pieces. Okay. So yeah, check that out. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys with all the great questions. If you guys are curious about the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program and you need some help, get on the wait list. If you're struggling to get shippers and you're a freight broker, freight agent, get on the wait list. It's absolutely free to get on the wait list. You'll get notified when spots open up. That's my 8-week Freight Broker Sales coaching program where I teach you everything I know about sales. Most importantly, the entire system that I used to do over $200 million of Freight Broker. Thank you for being here. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. We'll see you next week on the next Freight Broker Bootcamp Live.